All aboard to the Emerald City. Is Indy Ball's latest destination the Pacific Northwest? Find out in this week's episode of the Indy Ball Report podcast. We're back this week, episode number 314 of the Indy Ball Report podcast. I'll address it off the top. I have a cold.
Russ.
Ain't it though?
Shame. He's dirty.
Ryan's alone because his wife left him.
Yeah, I think she went to Florida where she divorced me. I don't know. I probably should pay more attention.
Well, with how long we do this show, it'll be a divorce soon enough.
Facts. Yeah, when you left the other day, she was like, so he's a real person. I thought you just talk to yourself. I was like, one, fun way to admit you never listened to the podcast. Two, you could still be imagining. I don't know. It's still just a large scale group hallucination.
It's a hell of an experience. See, really, this show is just powered by the Dyatlov Pass and zebra cakes.
And zebra cakes.
You remember zebra cakes?
Do I remember them? I've had them like within the last year. I literally just saw them on like a TikTok earlier today. And by TikTok, I mean real because I'm 32.
I use YouTube Shorts because I'm 27. No interview this week, but we do have a bunch of stories. And we'll start off in
Big
Jupiter,
week,
Florida. We're starting in Jupiter, Florida because this story is out of this world.
So dumb.
The Florida Marlins announced a plan to have a practice squad. They play against the Jupiter Hammerheads, their single A affiliate. Guys, be given
yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Players are going to be paid $150 a day, and they recruit former college and professional players from the 1st of April to mid-September. The team, though, did wind up scrapping the plan a few days after it was announced because Major League Baseball was like, what are you guys doing here? We're catching some shit for it. Did you not? And they were like, okay, we won't do it for now.
So, one, I was hoping you'd stop short on that one because I had a good bit, which is going to be starting to talk about how interesting and how much of a long-ranging effect this is going to have. And that's going to change things forever. And that was going to let you cut in with the, and 3 days later it was scrap. So what, okay. First of all, I don't even know where to go with this first.
First of all, I don't know where to go with it first.
Well, I'm torn between what do you think of it, and two, do you believe the reason for why it was scrapped?
I do believe that they face a lot of backlash on it, and for a practice squad for single A talent, it's not worth it. That being said, it also felt like all right, we're going to stick our toe in, feel how hot it is, and if we get a little red toe after this, we'll back off, wait a while, and then when the water's cooler, we'll attempt it from a different angle. So instead of going in barefoot, maybe we hop on a raft. I.e., we'll do it again, but in a different way in like a couple of years from now. That's the read I got on it. Possibly, if/when expansion happens to Major League Baseball, and you add in another 6 minor league teams, then you slide in with the practice squad because people will be less like, yo, this is what the minor leagues are for. Why did you cut all those teams if you need more guys to practice against? Because then you can be like, well, look at all the jobs we just made. We just made 120 jobs for players. So we could give another 20 a practice squad gig. Even though ironically, I think they're making more money on a practice squad than
that was part of the issue. They cited, or it was expected that part of the issue is the fact that according to the last agreement negotiated with the minor leaguers, who'd be making more, I think, than a lot of minor leaguers.
Yeah, I can see why that'd be an issue.
Yeah.
Imagine getting signed off the practice squad and having to take a pay cut.
That feels like the kind of thing they would do, though.
Oh, absolutely would be. But yeah, so that's the first bit. And the second bit on what I think about it, honestly, I don't necessarily hate the idea. That being said, I understand that it's a garbage optic that's not worth the press hit.
Yeah. Yeah. One, it's good that this isn't happening, at least right now, because it would be bad for partner leagues, specifically the Pioneer League.
That was my other thought, yeah.
Yeah, I
you
think
see Indy ball guys jump for the money.
See, yeah, I mean, the question being,
really what I viewed it as was if you're, let's say, a 25-year-old that's kicking around the Pioneer League or like a 27-year-old kicking around the Frontier League, like you kind of understand, like, I'm probably not getting signed. So like, I might as well go work for the practice squad team where I'm going to be in front of a major league team and getting paid more. And I'm in Florida and not doing a bus trip.
I mean, this is this wasn't a full year thing though. It couldn't have been.
No,
because Jupiter already has teams they play.
Well, yes and no.
It seemed like an extended spring training type of thing.
Well, no, because they were going to do this throughout the year.
So that's where I'm lost on. Like, why do you need a team to play Jupiter if they're in a league?
My figuring on it was they're going to do a bunch of scrimmage and like simulated games and shit like that. So you create like live game situations,
more live ABs without having to burn your own arms.
Pretty much, yeah. That or like, let's say you want to practice your situational hitting. You could do it in like a live game situation where you're like, all right, so we're going to do it like this. And, whatever it may be.
I mean, there's a way to do this, which is you just basically say you have an open invitation, like make it known and wouldn't advertise it. That was a bold choice of, open invitation for any, because really you're saving pitch. I mean, then you don't need more work for your pitchers for the most part. They already are getting enough work during games, and you're not going to throw them more. You're not going to throw them to the practice squad. It doesn't make sense. So it would be basically to get guys in to throw, and the deal is at least they get seen, and then your guys get more live ABs. Like, that's all I can think of. But like,
I can also see a situation too in a case of like, let's say you have a guy that isn't quite good enough to bump up to the next level, but he's too good for single A. So you're like, all right, let's get some more developed arms in here for him to see pitches and shit from, like a 28-year-old guy that maybe kicked around the association for a little while. And he can throw, he can hack it. He's like a double A to maybe low end triple A guy, but he ain't getting signed there because of age or whatever. You bring him on the practice squad and you let, your hitter see a more developed pitcher and get used to that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was confused with the whole thing, and my conspiracy brain we've met is thinking soft launch on some sort of future practice squad arrangement that teams would have, where like in lieu of minor league, because we talk about adding minor league teams, but in the big scheme of things, we're going to be losing minor league teams. We're going to lose probably 30 this next offseason. Newsflash to anybody not in the loop on that. So yeah, we'll probably be seeing, even with expansion over the next 5 years, 24 less minor league teams out there. So, which boom for indie ball, by the way. I am sure the moment we get through season previews, we're going to start a side focus on teams that look ripe for cutting and then adding into indie ball. So if you like that kind of talk, get ready.
There's a real situation where like in the next 2-3 weeks before we get into preview season, that's just the full episode we did. That was one we discussed to do in the off season. So that's still a possibility. Stumbled
through that one.
You brought it up for a teaser.
Hope you guys are excited about it because it might be sooner than I said. All of this from that, what we just talked about, the cuts to this practice squad thing, all has an interesting effect on indie ball and where that leaves, this genre of baseball. Part of me is like, I guess I don't need to worry about it because it got shot down so quick. So but I think it shouldn't be slept on the fact that Miami is not necessarily well liked by Major League Baseball is the thing I tend to hear from inside. So they're quicker. Like if the Yankees did this, would they let them get away with it?
Probably.
That type of thing. So
the Yankees also wouldn't need to do this kind of thing either. So
I don't buy the reasoning from MLB. It's flimsy. I get that you don't want guys making more money, but to be like kind of poking that, it's interesting. And even the walk back, even the thing said in the article about it being turned down was like somebody jumped the gun on posting it, which makes me think this idea is fine.
Yeah.
It's just too soon. And here's the one I would expect. Okay, sorry, I've just formulated it. My guess would be this is something that's been discussed, right? This has happened. I've seen in indie ball iterations. I've seen this in workplaces. I've seen this all over. So this would track with how company dynamics work, which is it's discussed somewhere. Someone brings it like league office among owners, whatever. It's mentioned then later. Some idea we're kicking around, and then the other people get that idea. By the time it's translated down to some maybe people on the development side for Marlins or whatever, they're like, hey, this is a cool idea. We like this practice squad idea. The league's already discussing it. We should do it. And the thing that's lost in translation is do not do it. Hold that idea. We cannot do that yet because it's probably something that they're going to cut teams in the, I would say could be they're cutting teams at the minor league level and adding in sort of a practice squad situation because the Jupiter would be, by the way, the team then that would need people to play. Then I would expect because then, by the way, they could still be keeping their teams, their Jupiter, for instance, but then not having to pay for all the things that go on to own and run a team. Keep that in mind. But I then think somebody came down from the league and was like, hey, like you can't like pull this back because this is leaving us in a bad situation exposed for the upcoming negotiations with the players union and basically showing our cards before. And I would suspect that because that tends to be when the league gets involved with what organizations do. It's very few things that the league gets involved with. It tends to be, frankly, labor related. And the fact they did cite the payment thing, I think makes sense. But I think the bigger thing is this might be the direction they're thinking about going.
We're really going to go back to like the before minor league system age, aren't we?
I mean, okay. So I'll entertain that conversation for a minute because I think on it a lot. My fear is I think we'll end up with, so what, they've got 4 minor league teams now. On average, you got 4 teams. Cut it down to 3, which means it's just high A, or it would be just probably called single A at that point. Double A, triple A,
double, triple.
Mm-hmm. Right. Then you have basically you turn your high A into additional complex. What is your low A turns into additional complex because they still have additional teams. They're just your complex league teams, and they're like chain link fence leagues. So I think then there's so many of these teams that are already, different thing. I think they probably become complex. Then you have basically 50. They'll probably cut some of the complex league guys. Your single A roster would become the guys typically playing at a complex league, just basically a spring training place, essentially on a backfield. Then I'm just thinking it through. That will mean you cut about 25 to 30 salaries plus the staffing plus all that goes into it. And the question becomes, who do your complex guys play other than other complex guys? It makes more sense if it's less structured. You can bring in practice squad guys, whatever. And then you don't need to, if it's a practice squad, they don't require the infrastructure that a team does, if that makes sense. And you're not responsible for those guys. They're contract workers, more so even than players currently are. Sure, this is essentially a direct response to the minor league unionization. Because, okay, if you're going to be a player for us, we're now responsible for all these things for you and always pay things for you. Sure.
But we want as little of that as
so we can. What we're going to do is we're just going to have less of you. And then we're going to have our own guys on our practice squad, which is definitely not a minor league team, even though we have them and they're our guys and they're probably wearing a Marlins hat or whatever. And then, but I'm not responsible for paying them and all that. And it's going to be a workaround. And I'm sure they're holding that idea until after the new contract with the players, because that's going to be a gotcha of, oh yeah, we negotiate all this. Part of the negotiation is going to involve cutting minor league teams. And then all of a sudden they're going to cut minor league teams and then add players as like unofficial people. And they won't have time until the next CBA to even, or an minor league agreement that comes up to negotiate what the pay structure looks like for those guys, if any. So there you go. That would be my guess. Sorry. That was way in the weeds. Thank you for the 5 people who are excited about that.
And I was going to say, I almost expect them to drop down to just a double A and triple A level and then go to some sort of youth academy type thing.
That's the move. Well, okay. So that gets me to my long term. I think what I would love to see long term is get rid of minor league teams.
Yeah.
Keep them, keep the leagues, but do it almost every team is Indy League. Which is that good for indie ball? No, but I think that would be the way to do it. Is anybody's grabbable. You can even have individual contracts with players on different teams. Like the Yankees have a guy on this team, and they play for Lehigh Valley or whatever reason. Like you can be all over the place, but you have dibs on his rights. So there's guys who aren't playing with a contract attached to them, so anybody can grab them. That would be a thought. Yeah, that's my thought process on it. I do think, they do have youth development academies. It's just in the Dominican and Venezuela,
if you bring it stateside, you could do the same thing essentially.
I agree. It's weird that we don't have that yet.
Because you figure pretty much all professional soccer does this.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and soccer and baseball are closer in many ways. One which I was going to discuss this week, but we had a bunch of news, so I'll bring it next week. But I think soccer and baseball should be learning from each other.
Anyway, an interesting turn of this conversation.
Yeah, I have a lot of weird thoughts on that, but I would just prepare everybody that things are going to change I would say the change coming, it's 50-50 that it could be a bigger change than what we saw with the first round of team cuts, or at least the most recent large round of them. I would just to tip the people now. Be ready.
That's going to be an ongoing theme on today's episode, kids. Pay attention.
Taking notes? All right.
There will be a quiz on this. Keep with the theme of corporatization and streamlining efficiency. Kane County got sold to REV Entertainment. Mm-hmm. This is the second American Association team in their stable. They also have the Cleburne Rail Riders. Rail Ride
feels a little different.
Yeah, I always get confused
with them and the Rail Riders, technically, which feels weird.
Yeah, them and Wilkes-Barre gave us the same name, so I get confused a little bit. But
yeah, I'm with you.
Cleburne, and plus I pretty much exclusively refer to them as Cleburne too. So
yeah.
Any event, so Cleburne's also in there, but admittedly only as a managing partner, so a little bit different. But regardless, they purchased the team from Dr. Bob Froelich. 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 Sure. Go with that.
Good Lord.
Any thoughts on REV purchasing the KCC?
Cute.
Thank you.
No, they're not like a private equity firm. I'm interested. I wish I knew more about the inner workings of Cleburne and how people felt about it, because I do find it interesting that they're like an event and
streets say Cleburne people are massively underpaid.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Certain streets have said that.
That tracks. That's a large company thing for sure. It's interesting to see an event and like stadium manager, which is like, it seems to be the main business of this company, getting into the business of buying teams. And I do wonder how that affects how things run, or if does it mean it runs better because that they have a background in the logistics of it? Does it mean it runs worse because they haven't this isn't their primary business? I don't know. Questions with no answer. Good podcasting, right?
Excellent podcasting. Really, you're inspiring the Dyatlov story that we mentioned earlier with this. A lot of questions, no tangible answers. But more to the point, I could definitely see that. I could see this maybe being like a test run. You go into some sort of market where you already are somewhat familiar with the operations of it, and try to go on to the next step in it before you make a move into a bigger property. That definitely can make some sense to me. It's also a larger market, Chicago area versus, I guess Dallas-Fort Worth area. Or at least larger medium market, I should say.
Yeah, I follow you. Yeah, I'm unsure. I'm gonna wait and see on this. If they're competent, that's cool. I always think it's a good sign for a league when a owner of one team wants to have another one. That means they find it to be a good investment. So that's a positive sign for the American. But other than that, it's really all I've got. I don't know quite what to make of it on the whole.
Yeah, I was expecting a lot more of a corporatization rant.
Somebody, I got tagged in that, and
I know I'm the one that did that.
Yeah, no. So this is not necessarily the thing that throws red flags to me. This isn't like a straight private equity thing, so it's different from Dime Baseball Holdings. What tends to, you've caught me rant a little bit about when it's pure money making venture. I don't think this as in this is just going to be a spreadsheet line. It is for them for sure, but not to the point of they have so many teams that there's going to be no personality and personalization to it. And they're not just going to be like Control C, Control V, copy and pasting, operations. So I'm not there on the red flag for this yet. The other small ownership thing that I tend to rant about is the Frontier League, because I think Frontier League slips into weird ownership games of like power dynamics, which is something that we should cover in depth at some point if we never get a little more sourcing. But yeah, that's usually what bothers me.
That Succession themed title card.
Yes.
So that Frontier League video will be phenomenal.
I will. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that did sort of stick out here. Not really. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm doing by a formal announcement in early April, I believe the 2nd. So we'll probably learn a little bit more then. But yeah, for now, just an interesting note.
Fascinating.
Yeah. But speaking of the Railroaders, they're going to play a 2-game exhibition series against a LMB team.
Yeah.
Jalisco? I believe so.
Jalisco. Yeah. I think that's what it is.
Yep. They're going to play on the 15th and 16th of April. 2-game exhibition. Tickets on sale now. Game played in Cleburne, Texas. Coming off the heels of that San Jose announcement from Oakland.
Yeah, that must have sold some thunder. That's tough. I will say, I mean,
baller
very
move.
Weird, quiet rollout. Just like with a graphic, I would have expected some sort of video or something. I mean, you got 2 front offices that can collaborate here. I'm sure there's a language barrier, but I would say,
there's a tariff on that collaboration now. So
look, I'm not the one. By the way, winner determines tariff policy. The
Ariba.
It's not how I would have gone about it, but then again, I'm not the sports marketing company that owns the team, so that's what I'll say on that. It just weird, sloppy rollout, in my opinion.
Does it encourage you for what you are to see coming from Kane County, or does it not? Or is it mean nothing?
It doesn't mean as much, mainly because I haven't been overly impressed by Kane County's marketing, to be honest.
You mean their website that's dog shit isn't impressive to you?
Or the logo that they had out of Microsoft Paint that lasted for like way too long? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I like
that one's crazy.
Personally.
No, I kind of do have a soft spot for it, but not in the way of like, wow, this is great. It's the wow. How about that?
Went for it.
Who's about that? Yeah, I don't.
Kitty go roar.
It's I mean, like for a long time, like that was like, hold on, 1991 to 2015, they had that thing. That's crazy. Minimalist. So here's the funny thing. All right, I'll give you that one. King County. Every brand is doing the same annoying thing, right? And if anyone follows soccer, you'll know what I mean. It's badges and complex logos are turning into circle, shields, plain, basic colors, basic logo, because they want to be easily identifiable, easily recognizable, easily replicatable, like for the right, like, you want every little kid to be able to draw your logo, things like that. And I love that King County had that in 2015 with their basic logo. Did not realize that switched it up to like what they have now, which is like multiple colors and a shield and like shading.
A cat with a bat.
And now it's like, actually, they would have nailed that. If they redo and bring back that logo, I think they might have something. But anyway.
But Ryan, they have a cat with a bat and then used the brand new logo when they came back.
The cat with the bat. Could the cat be in a hat?
Actually, yeah, he plays with a baseball. So yeah, a hat would be a natural fit.
Batting it around.
Like a ball of yarn. Vibe shift time. We're going to talk about the Vibe staff because they announced it. So
there you go. I mean, nothing ground or earth shattering.
Yeah, Les Lancaster's returning for the third year's manager. Anthony Ray joins as hitting coach. And I think Ernie Yake is going to be a coach or player coach. It wasn't exactly clear from the tweet, so. Website didn't have any further details. So
yeah, let me pull that article again real quick, see if I can.
There was no article; it was just a tweet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, just the tweet. Yeah, fascinating. Also, crazy choice.
They foiled my plans.
Shut up. Man. Les Lancaster always makes me laugh because he feels like a character name. That's all.
Oh, and Iowa State is currently on upset watch. Lipscomb has the lead.
Oh, I almost put Lipscomb in the next round. That's unfortunate. Robert Morris is doing well for me.
Good old Bobby Moe.
Anyway, yes. So where were we?
Well, we were going to talk about their staff, the Vibe staff.
Oh, I had like nothing to say about that. I'm sorry. What are we going to build on? You were looking up
more information on Ernie Yang.
No, I was not. Absolutely not.
Jesus.
There's no. I can get to the bottom of that real quick. Let's see.
Okay, go.
I just made a list of every active player in Rocky Mountain because I'm doing their projections right now. Let's see if he's on there, and that will basically tell us because he'd be under a player contract by now. I figure. Well, maybe not. Probably he's going to be paid minimum. Yeah, he's not on the player roster, and they already have. Quick map says 30 guys rostered, so it does not seem that he's going to play. If not, or at least they're not counting on it.
All right, then. So he's just going to be a coach, then I guess, because he was included in the coach post, but just said he traded his bat for a fire bat. So
yeah, that makes sense for a fungo bat. I love that from you, though. His reading comprehension skills back together.
See, I read it as fuege, like fire in Spanish, and
which you choose to pronounce fuege.
Yes.
Let's make sure you don't go to that Cleburne series. Good God.
So after that thrilling conversation on the Vibe staff, we have to really reflect on this show, and it's an emerald in the rough, if you would say that, because we're going to talk about the Eugene Emeralds. They're going to be leaving Eugene. Team failed to secure the necessary stadium upgrades, such as a new stadium to keep the team in Eugene, Oregon. Exact departure date is to be determined, but I would imagine it is sooner than later, although rumored their contract, at least player development wise, is 2030, if I'm not mistaken. And that would keep them there for that. But that's not going to be the case because MLB doesn't want their garbage ballpark anymore. They call them garbage. So they got to leave. They may go to Medford, Oregon. But in any event, the important thing is Eugene's going to be an open market. And this is screaming Pioneer League. By God, that's their music.
Yeah. Nice. Well, one, because up front, I've heard from people near and dear to that league that they're sniffing around Oregon already. And that was before that news broke. However, it's worth noting that the Eugene Emeralds ownership also owns, I believe, Idaho Falls and certainly owns the Rocky Mountain Vibes. So... Here they come. Yeah. So I don't know how to feel about it. First of all, I don't love it from the ownership perspective because this is another instance of they went to the city asking for a $15 million investment for a stadium. The city said no, rightly as they should. And they went, man, what to put buy a stadium and do it ourselves. So they're like, we'll go somewhere else, which if you don't know, that ownership group that I said also owns other Pioneer League clubs, which by the way, Pioneer League, you're collecting bad owners. You got a bunch of them over there now. So we're watching Grand Junction, trash, Noco, trash, Oakland and Yuba. We'll see. Now you're Idaho Falls, trash, Rocky Mountain, trash. So what are we doing? First of all, secondly, I can't. So the companies that Elmore also owns. Now it's worth noting that in 2023, the patriarch of the family, what's his name? Dave G. Elmore, I believe, passed away. So this could be the son's new vision for this. But they own a mining company. They're in the travel industry. They actually own a couple mining companies. They own like information and logistics companies. They own some building related companies, forestry. They are all over the place. My conservative estimate for what they're probably turning in revenue a year is close to 100 mil. So to say $15 million, I can't do it. And basically try to hold them hostage for a professional baseball team that's been there for years is embarrassing. They should be ashamed of themselves. And if I was in Idaho Falls, I would be concerned for sure. I know Rocky Mountains got sort of a new setup, which is an interesting glimpse into how that probably all came about. But
Ryan, I need my handout.
It's just, if we went around asking for free things from the government, I believe this certain brand of rich person would say you have to work for it.
Typical welfare queen asking for handouts.
Yeah.
What are you, unemployed?
Sorry for the language. Edit it how you want. It's fucking embarrassing. Like, they should be ashamed of themselves. So
gonna kick a trash can.
Rocky Mountain, you're on my list, and Idaho Falls still on my list. Though interestingly, I'm only mostly certain about Idaho Falls because I can't find Idaho Falls having any information about ownership on our website. It says it in old articles going back to like 2023, 2024, but they're also not listed on Elmore Company website, on the Elmore Company website, and Rocky Mountain Vibes are. So interesting. And sorry, talk about owners that get me a little bit mad. There you go. Also, it's going to shout out because I just retweeted it and he already texted me about it. Shout out Billy Horton, new book drop today.
Hell yeah.
My it literally called today, which is confusing branding, but Billy will figure it out. But you can get copies on Amazon, Apple Books, and other major online services. And also pre-order a copy from me, and I will mail you one personally next week. Love you, Billy. So good. Sorry about the whole thing about us licking mouths earlier.
As far as Eugene goes, would like the market. Would definitely be nice. I could see a world where
it solves the West Coast expansion issues a little bit.
It definitely does. I could see a world where it's almost like a swap, though, where Eugene goes to Pioneer and then like a Glacier goes to Affiliated.
Or Rocky Mountain would be the play, and they already own them.
Rocky Mountain's not a great market, though.
New ballpark, though. Though it wasn't enough to keep them around once, and the ballpark was only 3 years old, so I take that back. It was a stupid thought.
Exactly.
So,
you should feel ashamed
the unfortunate
about that.
thing about this podcast, I get so comfortable that I will like workshop an idea on the pod and go and have to have my realization in front of God and everybody that maybe I'm a moron. So that's a tough one.
I like when you workshop an idea in front of a guest.
Oh God, yeah, and go, like
and then they're like, well, actually,
like last week when I'm like, we actually played it. I was like, and as you're saying, it's like you've been scrimmaging American Association teams. I'm stupid. Yep. I literally have seen those results where 70 and be like, God, they should play each other for a tournament. Anyway.
Yeah, the only issue with going to Oregon with just Eugene, I think, is finding a travel partner.
Yeah, they will need to troubleshoot that one.
Possibly Bend, Oregon.
Hold on. Let me see. I will do this real quick before we have to move on. I mean, here's the thing. And it's still an 8-hour drive. Because part of me is like, it's not that far to Boise, but it's hard to get like a good direct route.
Yeah.
Bend, for sure, possible. I was eyeing up some other ones. I remember I had a whole conversation about it now. I forget which one they were, but or Salem.
Yeah, they have to get the Mavericks League though.
Yeah. I mean, I my thing is, how much money do we think they're making? Do we think it'd be better for them to just
Here's the thing, I don't think they're making much, but I think the overhead's very low.
Yeah, that's fair.
So having to get up to scale with everybody else, I think would cost them more. I'm not sure the profit's there.
Yeah, and I think for like other teams like the Portland Pickles, I think they're making enough money right now where it doesn't make sense for them to do the buy-in for a Pioneer League team.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. I think it would cramp their style too.
A little bit. Though, here's my thing. If I'm Pioneer League, I think it's a good get.
Oh, it's absolutely what you want, but you're not going to get what you want.
But I also don't know if they'd view it as a good get. Like, I think you and I would. I'm not sure that they would feel the same. About Tacoma.
They took Oakland in their circus. They'll take Portland.
Oh, no. They're playing University of Puget Sound. Jeez. Weird that Tacoma doesn't have a better ballpark situation. Anyway. Sorry, we don't need to do that conversation now, but it's in my mind.
Any other thoughts on Eugene Emeralds before we go on to sad news?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So we go to sad news. We have an unfortunate Bobby Jenks update. It would appear as though his health situation has taken a turn for the worse, and he is going to be doing some sort of autograph signing to try to raise money for the medical expenses. In addition to the fact that he also apparently lost his house in the wildfires in California too. So real rough turn for that family.
Yeah. And the general vibe is not good. Like this is the vibe of like setting up a little bit of a better situation for the last days is like brutal and heartbreaking, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like
what I don't get is like you're gonna tell me like Reinsdorf, that who owns the White Sox, can't throw the money in for this,
bro. You know,
like he means a lot to that city. You could toss the money in there, get some goodwill, do a good thing. Like the cheap ass won't do that.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm like local radio, I'm trying to, I needle at that a little bit, but I don't know the dynamics of play. Yeah, exactly, man. Like,
Bryce knows the money's not going on the field, so
exactly. And like, honestly, it's an easy PR win. If we want to break it down to something like that, which we shouldn't be, but that's where we are. Yeah. If you were talking to someone like Reinsdorf, but it's, I don't know. It's just, all I can think of, I don't know. It's sad. That's all. It's just.
But you would think like for however much it's going to cost, it's such an easy layup win.
No, yeah. I don't know. It goes back to it's doubles how weirdly connected to the Eugene Emeralds conversation.
Yeah. Kind of goes back to ownership.
Yeah.
Theme of the day, I told you guys.
Money. So I don't know. I've heard good things about Bobby. Not that it really matters. Nobody should have to go through what he's going through, but it adds a layer to it. I don't know. It's and then I have your house. It's like
it really
look at when you need comfort is like, oh. I talk about how I kind of gravitate toward community affairs, and I've literally worked, in communities with other projects and jobs. And it says I do tend to prefer an empathetic line of work, if I'm not working in baseball. So I guess I'm a little more in tune to it in a way. And I'm more used to trying to convince owners why a charity thing is good. But it just sort of, everything about this upsets me. It sucks.
Yeah, no, it's a deeply unfortunate situation. So I just figured I'd give the update on it because we mentioned him about a month or so back. So there was an update, tossed it in there. I'll try to find a link to the signing and include that for anyone that's interested in taking part in it, assuming the date hasn't passed yet, of course. But yeah. So to get off that dour note, the Frontier League website, it has been updated. New teams are in the banner. Games look like they're going to be on home stream or home team instead of Flow Sports in 25.
Was there no update for that? Like no press release?
Yeah, there wasn't any there.
No.
When you click the banner ad, it just says there's no content available right now, but it doesn't list like what package you need.
They got to figure that out because, I know for a fact that they are going to a different streaming service this year. They're not going to be on Flow, which more power to them. Let's see how this new thing works out. Let's see how the price works out, but different thing entirely. My other thing is I know for a fact
this will be $30 a month.
I figure, but the other thing is I know they have another announcement coming, like a partnership type announcement. And I know they're waiting to announce it, but at the same time, they're hiring for jobs related to the announcement. I'm like, just announce it. Stop. You're getting the drop on your own stuff. Stop doing this. You're punting easy wins. Stop it.
Hi-ho.
Frontier League. Frontier League.
Teamwork. I go.
What?
We're off to teamwork now.
Yeah. You'll pick it up quickly. Like at least half the teams I think I've seen post it.
That's good. It's very good.
Stuff.
Organizations. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't have to do minor league baseball. We can just go right to Frontier League. Let's see here. Clearly, you mean the cashier position with the minors.
Yes, there you go.
League digital liaison intern.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Isn't it though? Oh, they need someone to be Herbie the Miner.
It doesn't sound that bad, by the way. That's as I thought that through. It doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah. Brockton's looking for their MC for the season. Broadcaster role in Mississippi too. By the way,
I know. I did look at that. I just, for what it's going to pay, I can't justify going to Pearl, Mississippi for the whole year because it's
like
not
a track manager.
A job I'd move to. It's not a job I'm trying to be living on the road for 5 months.
On the road again. But yes, there's also that. And the other interesting thing about the website is it looks like there's only 2 leagues or 2 divisions listed for the standings.
Fascinating. It could still be upgrading or updating the formatting.
But they list all the teams.
Yeah, I mean, I could see wanting to list all the teams, but I could see also the formatting still needing some work. I wouldn't read too far into that. Oh.
But
what are the divisions listed?
I believe Midwest and Atlantic.
Do you remember what the initial ones that they gave us were?
Oh, golly gee. There was a Midwest, there was an Atlantic, there was, I want to say, like a Northeast, and one other one. So the conference was Atlantic and Midwest, and the divisions were East, North, Central, and West.
Okay, so I could see it just being, they probably already had the format, like the coding done for the format with the 2 divisions, and probably didn't get to. That would be my guess. However, let me see. Never mind. Yeah. All right. That would be my guess then.
Ooh, that's boring.
Alrighty. You're insane.
Any other discussion points?
I mean, I was going to just say that at some point we should talk to someone from the American Association about all the partnerships they have, because it's getting a little crazy. I mean, I'm just looking at over the past year a venture HR partnership, which they already announced once before as, I guess, a lesser partner.
Which is hilarious to have an HR
partnership. By the way. Yeah, we'll talk about your HR partnership at some point. Maybe we should give them a call, or at least an intern from Chicago. Unbeaten Sports Channel.
There's also employees that could call.
Carbliss, Rise Sports, IES Branding, Hotel Planner, Xfinity, Mobile Money, Gray Television, Sponsor CX, which was for sponsor management. And then 3 months later, they hired Chris Brown, VP of Partnerships. And
he used to be in Kansas City, right?
I don't remember.
But Sarah, what league were you talking about?
That would be the American Association presented by Carbliss.
Oh, that one. You said like American Association. I had no idea what that is, but now that you mentioned the American Association presented by Carbliss,
yeah, obviously.
Now I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, right. Yeah,
wow, yeah.
It's
so annoying.
I had no idea. There you go. There you go. Dumb. Now, if only there was like some way to remember that Carbliss was the main sponsor. Like, I don't know, put on like
a sign on my head.
Yeah. You know, like one of those.
Could I interest you in a sign on my head?
It's like when you were a kid and you sucked it like relaying messages and they pinned the note to you.
Yeah. Never had that happen to me, actually, which is kind of surprising. I think they knew I'd eat it. Anyway.
It's like, yeah, Ryan ate safety pin once.
So like, eat the note. They don't know what to do about it. Done twice.
Jesus.
Let a teacher write the note, take it, and just eat it. Dude, it blows their mind. It blows their mind, buddy.
I see.
So one teacher was like, principal's office. I was like, yep, fair. And then, but the other one was like, okay, and just never did anything about it. Never wrote another note. Just like, all right, fair play, checkmate.
I see it now. All right, Ryan, I need you to give this note to your mom. You're just like, as soon as you get the note, just
yeah, dude, just yeah, no, and like just did it. Like yeah, man.
Right, Sean, like it's a piece of lettuce.
Buddy, like sometimes you just gotta commit to the bit, man.
Maintained eye contact full time.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, that was you know I don't give a damn at that point if I'm eating notes.
The child began eating paper
Doing
again.
it like I'm the secret agent that's about to have the like police bust through the door. Just like, just Pac-Man with notes home about my behavior.
It's either just like the straight up, just like stare them down while you're eating it, or it's like when you catch the dog going through the trash and they just look up with the shit in their mouth.
It's the
takes off for running.
Bonus points if you can work eating notes into the episode title.
I see it now. The kid next to you doesn't do the homework. Go, Ryan ate my homework.
Oh, I'm a team player too. I was like, yeah. It was
like,
good though. Trust me.
Like it was all right, but I'm like, we could do it without the algebra.
So dumb.
Those powered symbols, not good.
Oh my god!
I think that's a great place to end off the show.
Yeah, that's about right.
This was a bit of a train wreck towards the end, and it was definitely a train wreck in the beginning. So, like,
yeah, what do you mean? If it's at the end and the beginning, it sounds like a train wreck.
Hey, I've never seen a plane crash ass first into a mountain.
But all right, I don't even know what to say to that.
Here's what you could say. You could say your plugs to that because it's gonna be a mess for me to edit later.
Yeah, bud, you're in trouble on that one.
I got way too used to these short edits.
Yeah, you're dumb. Anyway, let's see. I'm thinking I'll plug the YouTube channel this weekend. I'll be posting the NoCo video in a different format because I actually did post it. I didn't have it go live yet, and I got told by YouTube that there was a copyright issue.
Sure thing there, buddy. Yeah, sure.
Fun stuff.
But,
and then,
buddy. Okay.
But you'll probably get a couple videos from me because I'm already scripted on another video that I'm going to do if I can find the right size tinfoil hat for it. And then this week, probably on Instagram and Twitter, all this at Indy Ball Nation, I'll probably be running a Manager Madness bracket that I've been workshopping, and Nick has been so kind to help me with the seating with all 52 Indy Ball managers. So keep an eye out for that. And we'll
I like how I just got looped into his blame for the seating.
I mean, right. I was literally about to put together the seating groups and just see if you saw anything that stuck out. But if you want to like avoid culpability, I can just roll with it on my own. That's fine.
No, I'm in it now.
All right, sick. Anyway, what you got going?
Stuff. We got stuff.
Sick.
I don't know what the hell it's gonna be. I think there's like a tryout list I'm putting out. Pretty sure I told someone I had to do that, so I guess we'll do that. And there's a video I'm behind on, and an article I'm behind on, and about another video I'm about to be behind on. So, yeah,
it's going well. Welcome to my world. Two of us, man.
I know, really. Like, here's the problem: is like I look at doing it, and I'm like, damn, that looks like work.
Yeah.
And I go through shorts for like 2 hours. I'm like, God damn, it's too late to start anything now.
Yeah, so, I'm just, yeah. I don't even know.
Brain rot has taken hold. That's the issue for me. But when it doesn't, you could go to Indy Ball Pod on Twitter or Indy Ball Report everywhere else and look around. Maybe there's something good there. I doubt it, but maybe.
Not sure what there would be, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Perhaps.
Probably. Someone probably hacked the account. That's probably what happened. But yeah.
Oh my God, someone's posted something. I should let Nick know.
It's like someone hacked the account again. Like, those bastards posting quality content, no doubt. Trying to make me look bad and soil my good name.
Soil something.
Yeah. Trying to soil myself again.
Curses. Soiled again.
So yeah, that's what's going on here.
Yeah, sure.
Good train wreck. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for dealing with the nasal congestion and the nonsense. And remember to eat your zebra cakes. And until next time, don't forget to play ball.